Here we are looking out the door of the maintenance and water shed. That's the steel doored shed. And on the right, we've got all the supplies that we need for the weekly water inspection. Up there you'll see the keys for locking the system, the key and lock if we need to do maintenance that shuts down the water system, and we can lock that so that no one can use the system while we're working on it. Keeps us from getting wet. So we lock the system off when we're working on items on this side of the valves. When we're working on the hoses, we don't have to turn the whole system off. But when we're working on these faucets, the steel or the black plastic, then we need to turn off the main valve at the hydrant and lock it. And we've got our checklist. And down below we've got our tool bag that has tools and some of the most commonly used supplies for doing light repairs. And of course behind us we have our more serious tools for larger repairs. We have some items to replenish those light repair items in the tool bag, and also some splicing parts. And of course we have above us, we've got some spare hoses, and we've got some standpipes on the stuck in the rafters. So as part of the weekly inspection, we need to read the meter, and we're just concerned about the main digits here. We won't worry about this outer set of numbers. So in this case we just write 0089980. To see if we have any leaks or open faucets in the system. So when we're out here every week checking for leaks, a quick way to tell is once you pressure up the system, you turn this valve on and you watch this meter, and if there's no water leaking, these dials will not be turning. If there is water leaking, you'll see this smaller little gear spinning. If it's leaking faster, you'll see the needle moving. This is the finest gauge right here. So this is our kit for simple repairs, the kind that we might find when we're inspecting the line. Inside here we've got new ends for the hoses if they start to leak. We've got a cutter to cut off the hose before we put this on. We've got hose clamps to tighten that on. And we've got a couple of spare sprayers in there. And we've got some washers if needed. Tool-wise, we've got a couple of screwdrivers, some Teflon tape, and that should be all the tools you commonly use when doing routine fixes. There are some other tools in the shed and hardware that are used when we have more serious issues, like replacing these steel pieces. And when you do use pieces out of this kit, just make sure to grab some replacements from the spare parts in the shed, so that the next person that uses the kit will have all the parts they need. Okay. All right, so for our weekly inspection, we started out down by the hydrant. We looked for, made sure the meter wasn't spinning down there. If it was, then we're especially looking for leaks. If it wasn't, then things are probably good, but we still need to check the hoses because they may be leaking but not actively leaking because the faucets aren't turned on. So we just start at one end of the garden, walk down, turn on a faucet, look for a leak in the hose, spray the hose, let the pressure down, close the faucet, spray the hose, let the pressure go down, hang it up, and go down to the next one. And also, while we're doing that, we're looking at the black pipe down here, making sure that we don't have any leaks there. And every week, when we do the maintenance of the water system, on our checklist, we've got to make sure the water is filled in the bucket, and to check the level of the soap in the soap dispenser. So to do that, we're just going to take our hose, the closest hose, unscrew this cap, so we've filled it up. It doesn't have to be up to the brim, just when you can see the water, that's full enough. I'll put the cap back on, and our cap is marked with 2 turns because we don't want to over tighten that, so just put it on there and screw it in 2 turns, and then we'll add a little bit of soap, which will be in the container by the clipboard, which is to the left of the door in the steel doored shed.